Hi, I'm Reverend Kevin. Before the video starts, I wanted to announce the launch of an upcoming podcast called The Pastor's Academy. In every episode, a pastor will be sharing the best practices, lessons learned, and aha moments. For more information, go to our website at thepastorsacademy.com. Now, let's get started with the video. What is my favorite sermon story? Well, I like this one only because it's on a special holiday, Easter. I don't know if my other pastor friends have the same burden that I have, but when it comes to preaching on a special holiday like Easter or Christmas, there's a lot of new visitors there, and they all know the story though, so the familiarity with the story makes it difficult to really make an impactful message to them for the most part. So I just feel this burden of trying to say something new or different to get their attention, so it's not too boring for them. I'm not the best of preachers, but this is the Easter story. Of course, the resurrection scripture had been read. We had some beautiful music. I approached the pulpit and I talked about the small town, population only 5,000. And outside the town is its only tavern and bar. And in between the neighborhood where everybody lived and the bar was the town's graveyard. So it was standard practice that at the bar, somebody had been drinking too much, the bartender would just take their keys and say, "You need to walk home and get your keys in the morning," requiring them to go through the graveyard. So one evening, a man was having to walk home to the neighborhood through the graveyard, and he fell smack dab into an open, freshly dug grave. He got his senses about him, climbed to his feet, and then continued to try to escape by jumping at the edge of the grave, clawing at it, getting his face dirty and everything. And finally, after several minutes, he noticed that there was a kind of shadow cast in the other side of the grave. He said, "I'm just going to sit down in the dark shadow and sleep this off. Certainly, help would come in the morning." And he had just fallen asleep when a second customer from the bar fell into the same grave. And the first man just watched him as he continued to jump and scratch at the top of the grave, getting dirty as well. And finally, when he couldn't stand it any longer, the first man reached out of the shadow, grabbed the man's cuff of the pants, tugged on it twice real hard, and said, "You can't get out of here." But he did. I went on to share that story from Reader's Digest, I think, but then went on to talk about the um, the real man, Jesus, who was able to conquer the grave and the difference that has made for all of our lives. So, if you have a pastoral friend that is equal to you or better than yourself in the desire to do better and be better, then I invite you to tag them in this video or to share it with them. Thank you. See you next time.